Okay, Peptide 101, yay! Welcome. Um, all right, cool. So really, I want to present peptides to you, goddesses, because for the simple and powerful fact of the effect that they've had in my life, in my body, in my health, in my fitness, in my metabolism, in my healing, and in all of the things. So in August, so just like nutshell snapshot of my story. So I had, for those of you that don't know, I had a procedure done in August. I had upper and lower blepharoplasty, or basically like they take the poofy, they cut your eyelids, they sew them back together, and then under, same thing, they pull them together to make all of this smooth and tight. And then I had a CO2 laser on my face, which burns you at like many degrees. And the skin peels off. So my intention with starting peptides, so I started researching them probably like 2 months prior to that, knowing that I was going to have this procedure and I wanted to support my body in the best way possible for her to heal. Because everything that I do is to support my body, right? Nutrition, fitness, all of that. So I started learning about the peptides, and the ones that I chose were specifically for tissue repair, circulation, skin, hair, nails, inflammation, regeneration of certain cells. So I started those right after my procedure, and when I went for my checkup, um, and even to get my stitches out, my doctor was like, "Wow, like you're healing really fast." I'm like, "Yes. Okay, great." I mean, I attribute that to my health as well, but also when you have something supporting you like that, it can be a huge game changer. So since then, so I continued those peptides, and then in the past few months, I've added in different ones that are supportive of your cells, your mitochondria. Um, and we'll get into like those ones and what they do specifically. I also incorporated ones to use around my workout that help you produce more energy, ones that help you sleep deeper, ones that target visceral fat. So really, there's a kind of a peptide for everything. And so with that, my belief in my business and working with women since I started, like even I mean even in my gym was I'm not ever bringing supplements into my business and saying, "Oh, you need to take this supplement. Oh, perimenopause, menopause, you need to take this supplement or this thing." Because then we have to live on the thing, right? And it's something that is outside of us. It's not something that we can get through food. I believe that food is medicine, and the body can heal herself. She just needs to be supported and given the space to do that. So, in learning about peptides, what really piqued my interest and opened me to them is peptides are kind of like they're kind of like a text message for your body, to where the peptides just signal our body to create what we already do create. So whether that's growth hormone, um, mainly being the growth hormone because that's one of the best ones. That like anti-inflammation, right? As we age, our body slows down the production of these certain things, and the peptides, they unlock your DNA. They send that text messages and they say, "Hey, we need to make some more of this." The body says, "Oh, okay," and it does. So it's not forcing anything. It's not taking anything like anything, a steroid, a supplement from outside of you and putting that thing in you for your body to use. It's what your body already does. Okay, so let's get into that. So, really, peptides and the way that I use them and that I want to use them to support you girls is to support healing for your metabolism, recovery, and vitality at the cellular level. So, if you feel like, and I mean, well, all of these things have been changing for everybody, but like if you've been doing all the right things, but your body's not responding the same way anymore, right? We see even as we age, things take a little bit longer. Even when we are doing the things with food and the walking, it's like our body needs a little bit extra support. Because when we shift, our hormones shift, they change how our body repairs, recovers, and responds. So again, peptides don't force weight loss or override hormones. They support communication inside of your body so your systems work better together. So you want to think support, not stimulation. It's information. It's not punishment. Okay. So peptides, what are they? So peptides are short chain amino acids, and our body already makes them naturally. So, like I said before, they act like text messages between your cells. Heal here, recover faster, release growth hormone, calm inflammation. So perimenopause, right? And as we age, we produce fewer of those things. The signals get weaker or they get delayed, and our healing and metabolism slows down. So peptide therapy simply restores or amplifies those signals. Okay. So a question that I get a lot, and something that I was concerned about too, like, well, are peptides safe? Do I need to stay on peptides the rest of my life? Okay, so first, peptides are not hormones. They don't shut down your body's natural production of producing these things that we're signaling her to do. They work with your psychology or I'm sorry, your physiology, not against it. And a lot of peptides, most of them have really short half-lives, meaning they don't linger or accumulate. So, like a half-life is, there's certain ones that I take that they have like a 4 hour half-life, right? So I'll take it, I'll inject it, and then four hours later it's gone. So it's not like it's this thing or these things swimming around in my body. It's like it sends a text message sent, received, okay, great, dissipates, it's gone. So they're not something that build up or accumulate in your system. Okay. And safety with peptides comes from proper dosing, high quality sourcing, and matching the peptides to your specific goals. So proper dosing is really, really big. And that's something that, I learned again with all of the things that I teach, right? It's because I went through the thing and I'm like, oh, fuck, like this happened to me. And blah, why did this happen? Let me learn how to do it the right way. So I was working with somebody and they were dosing me really high with some of the mitochondria peptides, and I felt really, really good. I was like, oh my God, superhuman, until I didn't feel like that, right? It's like I was sleeping really, really well. And then I got up and you guys know, like my aura ring, you could see all of the things, right? Your resting heart rate, your HRV, everything, including in your sleep. So I noticed my resting heart rate was rising and my HRV was getting lower. I was like, okay. And I was sleeping for 9 hours. I wasn't waking up, but I wasn't recovering. So it was too much stimulus on my cells. And it didn't get to the point where, it did anything horrible, but because, right, I knew what to look for. And another reason why I'm like, okay, the girls in here, right, we would take advantage of all of these things. When we set you up with your specific protocol, okay, this is what we're looking for, this is what we're expecting, and really keeping the finger on the pulse of that, because when we do it that way, it's amazing. They are phenomenal. Okay. So again, right? Peptides. So this would be a precision support, not a blanket solution. So like we've been laying the foundation. We're building the foundation, nutrition, training, lifestyle, habits. So what are peptides not? So peptides are not steroids. They're not fat burners. They're not magic injections. They're not a replacement for nutrition, movement, sleep, or nervous system health. right? And those are the things that we do within this container already. So they
Mhm.
work best when they're layered on top of adequate protein, strength training, stress regulation, and hormone aware nutrition. Bingo. So let's go into, well, all right, first let me ask you, do you have any questions about any of that, Margaret?
Mm-mm. Not yet.
Okay, cool. All right, so some of my favorite ones and the ones that I started with that I think for most of you girls, so these are like kind of like foundational health stacks. So BPC 157, and we would go through all of this. So let me say this before we get into all of these. So if this is something that you're like, ooh, this sounds, let me explore this more. Like, what would it look like for me? What would we do? We would have like a one-on-one call. What are your, I know what your goals are, but we would go deeper into your goals. Like, what do we want to create within your body, for your body, health, immunity, metabolism, longevity, skin, hair, nails, all of that. And then we would create, or I would create your protocol. But I want to go through some of these peptides because they're phenomenal. Okay, so BPC 157 is a repair peptide. So it's really good for women that have joint pain, old injuries, gut issues, or you train consistently and maybe you feel like your recovery is slower. If you have inflammation or you have nagging aches, this peptide is phenomenal. So this was one of the first ones that I started taking for my surgery because it accelerates tissue repair. It supports your gut lining healing. It helps your joints, tendons, and ligaments, and it can improve your training tolerance also. Um, so what you notice is less pain, faster recovery, improved digestion, and feeling more resilient. So the BPC is really good too for like if you're so when it says the gut lining or when I say gut lining, think of gut health, right? And the foods that we focus on eating that support hormones, right? We want to do whole nutrient dense foods. But if you come from a place where you've not been eating great and your digestion's a little funky, like you're not going to the bathroom regularly every day and it's not solid, or you have gas a lot, you're bloated, any of that stuff, it actually heals. And I'm just going to say, like, replenishes and strengthens your gut lining. Because when your gut lining is all fucked up, that's when like things get stuck and lodged and you're not absorbing all of the nutrients from your
Mhm.
food. So it's really supportive with that. Okay, and then TB 500 is total, it's a total body recovery. And so BPC and TB usually pair together regardless because they just work really synergistically together. Um, so the benefits of this one, so it's systemic tissue repair. It improves your mobility and flexibility. It helps chronic inflammation and supports muscle recovery. So think of like when we train, we're all strength training. And to build more muscle, right, we have to break down the muscle.
Mhm.
To break down the muscle, we need to repair that muscle tissue, right? So right away, it helps you repair tissue faster. It helps the inflammation and it supports muscle recovery. So those three things are like more muscle, right? And quicker. It's really helpful for women that are in perimenopause or menopause when you have estrogen fluctuations, because when we have the fluctuations, the healing is slower. So this will support that. And if you feel that when you have certain training sessions, if you're sore for like 2 days, 3 days, if you feel like it's harder for you to bounce back from that than it has been in the past, this will also support that. Okay. Epimorelin. So this one I got really excited about when I started learning about it. I was like, oh my God, I want to do this one first. So this I feel like is a key peptide for all of us as women. It encourages your body to release its own growth hormone. So it's a precursor to your growth hormone. So think of it this way. If you have a receptor, right? Just we'll just picture the receptor. I always picture the receptors up here, right? By your pineal gland, because a lot of this stuff is secreted from the pineal gland. Pineal gland is like control center for your whole body. So it goes in and it's like, hey, let's release some growth hormone. Okay, got it. And it's like, okay, the growth hormone comes through your body. It doesn't override or force the production. Again, it just signals your own, and we stop producing that as much as we age. And also with the fact that as we get into our 40s, we just start to lose muscle because we just turned 40. And then as we're 50, we lose more and 60. So we continue to lose more. So this can basically like mitigate that, right? So we're not losing, we actually have the power to gain easier. Um, so it's going to enhance your sleep quality. Within the second week, I was sleeping like a boss, like 8, 9 hours through the night, deep sleep, which gives you improved recovery, lean tissue support, so muscle, skin and hair health, and then metabolic support. So growth hormone is about repair and regeneration. It's not about getting healthy, right? A lot of people think growth hormone, like that's no. Lean, sexy muscle, repair and regeneration. Okay. And then, so retatrutide is one that I just started like 2 months ago. So retatrutide is a triple agonist, which means it hits three receptors at one time. It hits your GLP, GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. So basically, what this does is it regulates your appetite. It helps stabilize your blood sugar. So you utilize carbohydrates more efficiently. And then it also supports your metabolic system. So you metabolically switch easier. So that's your sugar burner system to your fat burner system. Okay. So with this, and this one is FDA approved, and it is the best peptide for, I'm going to say fat loss, but all of these other things because it does hit all three of those receptors. Um, and again, right, it's not a lifestyle replacement. So it's not like you hear these people like, oh, Ozempic or all of these other things that are
The
semaglutide, right?
golden.
That like burn your muscle. No, like retatrutide has tons of benefit. It helps you preserve your lean muscle mass. So like yeah, I didn't list all of them because we'd probably be here for 10 minutes going through all of the things. But again, with the foundation that we've built, it works best with protein, resistance training, and enough food. It's helpful for women that have like insulin resistance or stubborn fat, right? So again, here we go, perimenopause, menopause, stubborn belly fat, it works really well with that. It reduces food noise. So with food noise, so for me, like food noise, I mean, what I do for a living, I'm thinking about food all of the time. I love to cook, I love to create food, I love to eat food. And so food takes up a decent amount of brain space for me, right? And since I started taking this, it quiets that down.
Mhm.
So, like if you have cravings and it can be really any type of addiction, right? It quiets that because it works with that part of the brain, the receptor there that is chatty. It's like, okay, shh, quiets that down. So, and that's huge for a lot of people. So, if it's emotional eating, binge eating, if those are things that you struggle with or you've struggled with, it also helps with that. Why it's all of that down, which is beautiful because I mean, what else can you take that does that? That's why a lot of people drink alcohol or do drugs because they don't want to hear that noise. That's the only other thing that calms that chatter, and then that puts you in like a shitty place, right? Lowers your frequency, and now you're on these substances. No, not healthy.
Mhm.
Um, So with that too, so reduces food noise, easier, I'm gonna say easier adherence to what it is that we're doing, right? Hitting your numbers, doing all of the things, right? Because you have that noise calm down. And it kind of sharpens your hunger cues. So you have more predictable hunger cues, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's Tide, and it's probably like my favorite one right now. Um, okay, KPV. So this one I started taking as one of my first ones also, in combination with copper, but this is a big one. So KPV is for inflammation and gut calming. So I feel like it's a very unappreciated peptide, but it's perfect for women that are in this space because it reduces inflammatory signaling. So, like, we get inflammation from working out, we get inflammation from certain things that we eat, we get inflammation from stress. It's very easy for our bodies to get inflamed, so it reduces that signaling. It supports your gut health, it helps autoimmune or sensitive systems, and it improves your skin and your digestion. So think of it as kind of like a I'm saying the thing that I'm seeing is like a golden like gloss kind of going all over the inside of your body, and it's just like strengthening it and making everything just really, really nice. So if you're somebody that gets inflamed easily, or you bloat easily, you have joint or skin issues, if you're stress reactive, this is a really, really good peptide for that. And then there's other ones. So those are the big ones, the ones that I'm like, yes, these ones. And then there's a few other ones that I take as well. Um, so MOTS-c is a mitochondrial support peptide. It gives you amazing energy. So how it works is, so our telomeres, right? If you're familiar with telomeres, right? Our
No.
mitochondria. So as we age, the telomeres get shorter and they kind of start to like break. So this lengthens your telomeres, right? And it heals your mitochondria. So it helps to produce energy. So it activates APMK, which is your body's energy signal. So you'll find like when I take this one, I find like I have this like, whoo, it's like mental clarity, a steady energy, there's no crash. And it supports tissue repair as well. Excuse me. And it also helps with metabolic flexibility. Again, so going from the sugar burner system to the fat burner system. And then copper. So the proper name for copper is GHKCU. So that supports skin, hair, and tissue regeneration. So this is one of the ones that I started taking also for my surgery because specific to skin and tissue regeneration. It's blue. And so since I've been taking this one, I mean, the skin on my face looks phenomenal, but also the skin on my body is really soft. And what I started noticing in the last, I guess it was like a month and a half ago. So you know how they say like you can tell a woman's age by like if she has all the work done on her face, like the skin on her neck and the skin on her hands. So the skin on my hands like used to be like loose and kind of like you could see wrinkles, and now it's a lot smoother. It's not smooth as like a baby's butt, but it's getting there. So like the skin on my hands, and the skin on my feet. So usually I have like really rough, like when I go to get a pedicure, they're like, "Oh my God, your calluses, you want the scraper?" I'm like, "Yeah, break out the razor." So that is way less, and I'm not shaving my feet at home. So those are really big ones too. I love the copper one. And I also give that, so I give Elsie copper. BPC and a TB 500. She has arthritis in her hip, and after a week and a half, she's in the backyard running around. Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, is it safe for Elsie? Well, clearly, because these were all tested on animals before humans. So yeah, let's check it out. And it's been really good. And then the other one that I take, I alternate it with the epimorelin, right, which is what you take before you go to sleep for sleep, for muscle repair, regeneration, all of that. So tesamorelin is also the precursor to a growth hormone, but it targets specifically your visceral fat. So they actually used this peptide in patients that had HIV because some of the medicines that they would give them, they saw that it was increasing their visceral fat, which you have too much visceral fat that just kind of strangles out everything, right? It's just the most horrible inflammatory fat. So they
Mhm.
started to give them this, and it like think of it like just eating your visceral fat, which is amazing. And this one is actually FDA approved because they use it as medicine for those people, which is cool. And this one, same thing, your sleep is going to be rocking. Okay. So those are my jams that I love. And so like expectations for peptides, right? Because we always want to think about, okay, what is it that we want? Right? Just like when you came into the program, okay, what are your goals? All right, now let's set realistic expectations, right?
Mhm.
Because again, it's not this magic thing that you're going to take and you're like, "Oh my God, like I look like, a fitness model in 2 weeks." So things that you can expect, absolutely better recovery, improved energy, less inflammation, improved body composition over time, right? And again, this comes with the foundation that we've been laying, better sleep and resilience. So think of all of these things together, like they all work together for improved body composition, improved health, metabolism, digestion, right? When you have less inflammation, improved energy, basically what we're doing is we are supporting the systems in our body to experience these results. So what it's not, right? Overnight fat loss, skipping foundational habits. This isn't taking the place for what we're doing with our nutrition, our training, our lifestyle, our mindset. And it's not allowing us to ignore stress or nervous system health, right? It's like all of the things that we're doing. This is kind of the key to be like, oh, let's just amplify, let's enhance these results. Okay. So peptides, they're not going to change who you are. They're going to support how well your body responds. So it's about working with your biology, not fighting it. Okay. So um, what we would do is, let me come back to the Zoom. Okay. So if this is something that does interest you again, we'll set up a call. We'll go through what it is that we want to focus on. I'll put together a protocol for you. So remember, one of the things was the proper dosage, right? Proper dosage, um, the plan, having it set with your hormones as well, and then doing it correctly, right? Because so with these, you take these subcutaneously. So it is a needle, which I'll just tell you my experience with needles. So growing up, oh shit, it's 3:03. I got a meeting that started. So
Oh,
growing up, horrible with needles, and pfft, it's no big deal. They're these tiny, tiny little things. We would do it together. Um, yeah. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop this meeting because I
okay.
gotta
Okay.
go. Okay, send me a
Thank you.
message if you want peptides.
Okay.
Okay, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.